There seems to be a direct relationship between self-discipline and success in every part of life. So how do you discipline yourself? You make a list of everything you have to do during the day. You set priorities on your list, and then you start on your most important task first thing and discipline yourself to keep working. Once you've decided on your most important task, resolve to concentrate single-mindedly on that one task until it's 100% complete. In time management, the number one reason that people don't succeed is because they can't discipline themselves to do the planning and preparation and then the hard work necessary. Your ability to select your most important task and then to work on it single-mindedly without diversion or distraction will double and triple and even 5 times the quality and quantity of your output, your productivity, and eventually your income. This is one of the most powerful of all time management techniques. This means that when you start with a task, you don't do anything else until that task is complete. Once you develop the habit of completing your tasks, you will earn 2 and 3 and even 5 times as much as other people. Now here's an interesting discovery. Self-esteem comes from task completion. Whenever you start and finish a task, it gives you a burst of endorphin. You feel like a winner. You feel happy. You have more energy and more motivation. Task completion motivates you to complete more tasks. And the bigger the task that you complete, the happier you feel and the more motivated you are to complete even bigger tasks. This is one of the great secrets of success known by top people. How do you practice visualization? You create clear, vivid, exciting, emotional pictures of your goals as if they were already a reality. See your goal as if it were already achieved. Imagine yourself enjoying the accomplishment of the goal. If it's a car, imagine yourself driving this car. In fact, go down and test drive the perfect car for you. Get a feeling for it, smell it, take a picture next to it. Take a picture of yourself being in the driver's seat of the car that you want to own and look at that picture on a regular basis. If it's a vacation that you want, see yourself on the vacation already. Get pictures from the brochure. Put the pictures around your house. If it's a beautiful home that you want, see yourself living in a beautiful home. Here's one of the great characteristics or techniques of getting a beautiful home is start going to open houses in expensive neighborhoods. My wife and I started doing this when we were young with very little money. And within a couple of years, we were in a beautiful home and then another beautiful home. When you walk through beautiful homes that are for sale, you start to get an unconscious picture of a composite of the beautiful home that you want for yourself. And you start to attract into your life possibilities to achieve that home. What we attracted was opportunities to earn more money so that within a couple of years, we could afford the home that we were visualizing. Now, in visualizing, take a few moments to create the emotions that would accompany the successful achievement of your goal. We say, get the feeling. If you would be proud and happy, think and feel being proud and happy. Now, what we've learned is a mental picture combined with an emotion has an enormous impact on your subconscious and your superconscious mind. It activates the law of attraction. It draws into your life people and circumstances to make it possible. A picture combined with an emotion is electricity that sends out a force field of energy from you that attracts everything you need to make that picture a reality. Visualization is perhaps the most powerful faculty available to you to help you achieve your goals faster than you ever thought possible. When you use a combination of clear goals combined with visualization and emotionalization, you activate your superconscious mind. Your superconscious mind then solves every problem on the way to your goal. Your superconscious mind is perhaps the most powerful faculty that you have available to you, and it is activated by a clear goal for which you have a burning desire. Your superconscious mind activates the law of attraction and begins attracting into your life people and circumstances and ideas and resources that will help you to achieve your goals even faster. The fact is that you have enormous untapped potential. you could be earning 3, 5, maybe 10 times what you're earning today in the years ahead. You could probably accomplish all the goals that you can set for yourself. Here's an interesting discovery. It's not possible for you to set a goal, to write it down, and to make a plan for its accomplishment without your having simultaneously the ability to achieve it in some way, somehow, through some method. So the most important responsibility you have is setting goals in the first place. Goal achieving seems to be automatic. It's the goal setting that you are responsible for. The incredible thing about goals mastery is that it's really life mastery. And the sooner you begin to develop successful habits, the sooner you'll reap the financial, personal, and professional rewards that go along with them. We have learned through practice and repetition over time. And we can override bad habits with good habits. Sometimes people have a smoking habit. How do you get over the smoking habit? You develop habits that override that habit. Exercise, self-discipline, not putting yourself in harm's way, not going to places where they smoke. You do everything possible to develop a new habit until you have the non-smoking habit. There's some people who had been chronic smokers, now they're chronic non-smokers. They're religious about not smoking. So you can develop any habit you need to develop. And 95% of what you do is habit. From the time you get up and brush your teeth in the morning, to the way you mix your coffee, to the way you drive your car or park it, to the way you dress, everything's a habit. Now, there's some habits that are good to have because they make things automatic and easy. You don't even have to think about them. There are other habits that can be very harmful and need to be challenged if they are not serving you. My friend Ed Foreman said the rule of success, he said, good habits are hard to form, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to form, but hard to live with. And the rule is to form good habits and make them your masters. And so what you say to yourself, if I had a habit of this, being punctual, a habit of planning every day in advance, a habit of exercising for 30 to 60 minutes each morning when I get up, a habit of going to bed by 10 o'clock, if I had these habits, would they serve my life? Surprise, you look around and find really successful people, they have these habits, and nobody had them to start with. So Goethe said, with regard to habits, everything is hard before it's easy. The reason that people do not develop good habits is because they're lazy and undisciplined. They just simply cannot stick to it until the habit locks in and becomes automatic and easy. But here's the good deal, is that once the habit is locked in, it's easier to do it than not to do it, because it becomes your new comfort zone. And you are only comfortable when you are performing with that new habit in that new range. Discipline is the master key to riches. And this is really the most important key of all, is the ability to discipline yourself to do it whether you feel like it or not. To just keep on keeping on until it becomes a habit. But remember this, wherever you are today, you've gotten here by the things you have done or failed to do in the past. Wherever you want to go in the future, there's no limit because you can control it. And when you start to practice self-discipline, which Napoleon Hill called the master key to riches, when you start to practice self-discipline, it becomes easier and easier. And here is the great discovery, is that every act of self-discipline raises your self-esteem and your self-confidence. Every act of self-discipline deepens your persistence and your determination. Every act of self-discipline makes you stronger and more confident in yourself. When you practice self-discipline, you actually build yourself as a person. And that's why you find that the greatest men and women in history have worked on themselves, like working out with weights, to become very disciplined and focused in doing the things that they need to do to be successful. So every step you take toward becoming more disciplined actually raises your self-esteem and self-confidence and makes it easier for you to take the next step. So self-discipline is really the master key to riches. It's the foundation skill that makes everything possible. If you develop discipline, which is a learnable skill, you can accomplish anything in life. You can achieve any physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual goal. And especially you can achieve any financial goal if you just simply develop the disciplines that are necessary to achieve it. So you forget everything you ever learned, but your self-concept is fixed for life. For the rest of your life, you're a college graduate. You can start courses and you can complete them. You can learn stuff that you need to learn. You can do stuff that you want to do. You know that you can persist and discipline yourself to get through the courses and the final exams. The whole purpose, in my estimation, of college is to develop that mindset. And those of us who did not go to college, I eventually did, I go to college, always have felt uncomfortable with college grads because they seem to have some, as the French say, je ne sais quoi. Seem to have this je ne sais quoi, this kind of something about them that people who didn't graduate from college don't have. So your reference group is really important. When you go to work, your reference group are your work team. Your reference group are the people you socialize with, the people that you go to church with, the people in your political party who believe the same way you are. So your choice of a reference group determines 95% of your success because you always strive to act like your reference group. If you're growing up in the inner cities and your reference group is people who run dope and steal and everything else, that's your reference group. Your goal is to be respected by them by being really good at stealing and running dope. So it's very hard to escape that kind of a background if that's your reference group. Interesting thing that happens, by the way, in the inner cities, they'll often get a person who's committed a crime, and they will say to them, the judge will say, either you go into the army or you go to jail. What's it going to be? This is quite standard in the inner cities. You finished high school, you may not have learned much, but they'll take you in the army. And so the person says, I'll go in the army. And they go in the army and they go through basic training and they go through training and they are taught discipline and taught to dress and taught how to make their beds and taught how to brush their teeth and they're taught how to do their jobs and they're taught how to get march and to get organized and disassemble things and put things together. 4 years after a person goes into the army, a completely irresolute, hopeless, loser, street kid comes out, and this person is straight and strong and self-disciplined and clean and sharp and focused and knowledgeable and confident. Have you seen, you know what I'm talking about? Is they've transformed his self-concept in the army. And from that point on, this person goes on to do wonderful things with his life. And he looks back and he said, whoa, I dodged a bullet. If I hadn't gone into the army, I'd be back there dead on the street with my friends. But they changed his self-concept by changing his inputs and his suggestive environment and his reference group for 4 solid years. So it's so important. When you start to associate with better, more successful people, you start to become like them and think like them and feel like them and walk and talk and dress and act like they do. Pick positive people you admire, okay? The new mental diet, there are 2 times during the day when your subconscious is most open to new information. The first is at nighttime, just before you fall asleep. Now, that's why it's very important to write out your goals before you go to bed. If you write out your goals before you go to bed, and I'll teach you how to do that tomorrow, then what happens is your subconscious mind works on your goals all night long. And in the morning, you'll wake up with great ideas. Sometimes you wake up in the middle of the night with an idea that's fantastic to achieve your goals that you can then implement the next day. So just before you fall asleep, write down your goals. But as you fall off to sleep, think about your goals. Visualize your goals as complete. Imagine your goals. Think about success. Just feed your mind with this picture and the feeling of your goals succeeded just as you fall off to sleep. It's as good as a sleeping pill, by the way, because it calms you down completely. The second thing is in the morning, the first hour after you wake up. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is most amenable to new suggestions. In the past, I didn't manage my time well, but now I do. In the past I was, but now I am. And it just cancels anything if you think of yourself in a negative way from the past, always cancel it. Say, yes, in the past I was, but remember, that was a different person. That was a person then. This is me today. This is a new person. This person does it this way. When you make a mistake, you respond with, next time I'll do it this way. Next time I'll do it that way. You make a mistake, you say, darn, next time I'll start earlier. Darn, next time I'll plan more in advance. Darn, next time I'll call to confirm. In other words, whenever you make a mistake, always say, next time I'll do it this way. And what that does, it cancels the mistake, forces you to face the future, and the future is always bright. You can accelerate your new programming when you teach what you know to others who are interested. This is a wonderful way. Remember, you become what you say to yourself, you become what you think about, you become what you teach. And the more you teach people these ideas, the more you internalize them. You become what you teach. A proven way to speed up your mental programming is to express an attitude of confident expectations. Always be confident. Everything's going to work out fine. Don't worry. It'll be all right. We'll be there. We'll be fine. It'll work out. Something will happen. And you notice there are people like this in your life that you want to punch because they're not being realistic, like you. And something always happens for these people because an attitude of confident expectations is the mental chemical catalyst that causes extraordinary things to happen. The more positive you are, the more confidently you expect that things will work out, the faster they work out. So become an inverse paranoid. Now, do you know what a paranoid is? A paranoid is a person that is convinced there's a conspiracy to get them. All right? An inverse paranoid is a person who's convinced convinced that there's a conspiracy to make you successful. Everything that's happening in your life is part of a big plan to make you a big success. So therefore, you look into every reversal and you say, there's another lesson that I can learn that will make me successful in the future. Or look for the good in everything that happens. Have this attitude that everything that's happened, every mistake, every failure you've ever had in your life was sent to you as a gift to help you to be successful. My old friend Norman Vincent Peale used to say, when God wants to send you a gift, he wraps it up in a problem. And the bigger the gift that God wants to send you, the bigger the problem he wraps it up in. Now, I know that many of you feel that it's like Christmas Day at your house right now with all the gifts wrapped up all over the place. But the negative person always looks the gift horse in the mouth. They always look at it and say, why should this happen to me? The positive person, when they have a reversal, says, what can I learn from this that will help me to be better in the future? What can I learn that will help me to be better? What is the lesson that's been sent to me as a gift to help me to be successful? Somebody was talking about my book, Many Miles to Go, which is my story about crossing the Sahara. And it's a great book. It's in all over the world. Many people really like it. And I remember in crossing the Sahara, I had every difficulty, and it's written in this book. My car broke down over and over. I got dysentery. I got sunstroke. I almost died in the desert. I had every single conceivable problem. And in retrospect, I look back and I realized that if I had not had all of those problems, I would have died in the desert. I would not have been prepared. I would not have done all the setup. I would not have had the gasoline or the food or the water. I would have died in the desert. Every single problem, which was a major setback for me at the time and for my friends, every single problem in retrospect saved our life. If we had not had the problem, we would have died. We did not realize that it was an 800-mile stretch of desert. And once we had gone into the desert, no one would ever come after us. And if we had not been prepared, we would have died. And for the rest of my life, I realized that when you have a major setback or difficulty, it's being sent to you as a gift. As long as your goal is clear, it's a gift. It's a lesson to help you to succeed. It is not a stumbling block. It is a stepping stone to success. So look for the good in everything that happens. The big lie theory. Now, the big lie theory says if you repeat any statement over and over again, often enough, even the most intelligent person will come to believe it. They say that there are some things so ridiculous that only academics can believe them. But we had a situation not far from our home where there was this cult of fairly well-educated people, doctors, lawyers, dentists, engineers, well-paid business owners, and they were convinced by this couple that this couple had some great insight into the cosmos and that Halley's Comet was coming, and that if you did not hook on to the end of Halley's Comet, the world would be destroyed and you would be dead forever. But if you hooked on to the end of Halley's Comet, which you would do immediately after you had taken the poison and died, you would hook on to Halley's Comet and it would take you to heaven. There were about 79 of them. Was that the number? This group in Rancho Santa Fe, and it was just down the street from us, within driving distance. These people gathered. They came from all over the United States and Canada, and they all got there, and they all believed this because they told them over and over, when the comet comes, the way we hook onto the tail is we all lock arms and drink this poison, and the comet will pick us up and take us into heaven. And they all did. The entire gang, including the two conspirators, or the two cult leaders, and they all killed themselves. And the police went there, they could not believe it. This was it was condominium, but no matter how large the condominium, 79 dead bodies takes up a lot of space. They tried to sell that place for 10 years, by the way. Oh, they said, why has this place been on the market for so long? And the real estate agents would go, oh, no. And then they'd check it on Google. Oh, my God, this was the scene of the mass suicide. Because these people, by repeating it over and over again, these were very intelligent people, which people were just shocked at this. They all believed it so much that they all killed themselves in a group. So it's possible for people to believe absolutely preposterous things if they are repeated over and over again. However, the benefit of this, and this is the basis of all propaganda that is used by major churches, all propaganda used by communist parties, Nazi party, and so on. But there's what we call the big truth theory. The big truth theory is the opposite of this, and it says you can be, have, or do anything you want if you want it badly enough and are willing to make the effort. This is the big truth theory, and here's what we found. And this, again, is one of the great breakthrough thoughts, so it's important that I illustrate it. Okay. The great truth says that when you decide that you want to double your income or lose weight or start your own business or become financially prosperous, and you decide it because of your natural skepticism and your natural negativity and all the experiences you've had in the past that have caused you to be doubtful, to question whether it's possible, you'll have a big D for disbelief. The D will be disbelief. I don't believe it. Reject it. Not possible. And you'll think of all the reasons you want it. It would be nice, but you'll disbelieve it. So let's say you say, let's say you're earning $50,000 a year now, and you start saying, I earn $100,000 a year. Disbelief. Kick out. I earn $100,000 a year. I earn $100,000 a year. Write it down. I earn $100,000 a year. And you think about it, I earn $100,000 a year. And I take my whole family to Disneyland, and we go to Paris. I earn $100,000 a year. Each time you say it, you'll disbelieve it. But as you keep repeating the big truth theory, the D begins to decline. You begin to believe it less and less. You keep saying it over and over, and you disbelieve it, and you disbelieve it, and you disbelieve it, and you disbelieve it, and you disbelieve it. But the D becomes smaller, and you disbelieve it, and you disbelieve it. And then you reach this point right here, and then something happens. Like you get a raise, or you get an idea, or you get a promotion, or something happens with a new product, and you start thinking, hey, and you're making more money. You're thinking, hey, wait a minute, maybe there is something to this. Maybe it is possible. And it's a scary thought, and you start to develop a little B of belief. Little tiny B, little tiny B. You believe it, maybe there's a one chance in 100 that I could do it. And then you keep repeating, I earn $100,000 a year. I earn $100,000 a year. I earn $100,000 a year. And you begin to believe it more and more. And you begin to believe it more and more. You begin to believe it more and more. And you begin to believe it. And as you keep repeating, I earn $100,000, your belief starts to grow and grow until you reach the point in a certain period of time where your belief is just as great and as deeply entrenched as your disbelief. So when you repeat these over and over again, when you affirm and you visualize and you read and so on, you start to believe. First of all, you believe it'll disbelieve, and then you start to believe and believe. And once you reach this point, it starts to materialize in your life. It just starts to come true for you. Now, many people are lazy. So what they will do is they will take a couple of runs at it, and they'll do it for a couple of weeks, and they'll think a couple of weeks of affirming is going to change an entire lifetime of performance and results. And so they'll give it up, and they'll say it doesn't work. Sometimes they'll look at it, and they say it doesn't work, and they won't even try it. They say, oh, yeah, that stuff doesn't work. How do you know? I heard that stuff a year ago. Did you ever try it? No, I never tried it, but I knew it doesn't work. You're wasting your time. It won't work. And so they'll try to discourage you from doing it. So it's really important that the big truth theory is you can be and have anything you want. Anything you can hold in your mind on a continuing basis, you can have. Anything you can hold in your mind on a continuing basis, you can have. There are no limits. The great test is this. Remember I said that desire is the critical thing? The great test is how badly do you want it? How badly do you want it? And if you can hold it in your mind continuously and visualize it and affirm it and think it, then because of all of the mental laws we've talked about, it starts to materialize very much like a Polaroid photograph, and pretty soon the picture is perfectly clear. It's the same thing. As you begin to work on it, it'll be completely black. There'll be no indication at all of achieving that goal, but at a certain point, it'll start to appear and get clearer and clearer, and there it will be in your life.